What is up, YouTube? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, and if you are, that is amazing. If you want to help me out, you can go down and smash that like button right away, because it really does help a small channel like mine out. So today I'm going to be giving you guys 5 free tools that you can use to master the stock market. It just takes time, dedication, and a willingness to learn. And the fact that you're already at this video means you're already mastering one of the steps and you don't even realize it. So the reason why I'm making this video is because when I started out, I felt like there was no videos out there to teach me everything that I needed to know and what were like the best websites to find everything. I kind of just watched video after video after video and pieced together everything. You're still gonna have to do that. Being in the know is just something that you have to gain, you know, getting that confidence and getting used to what happens in the stock market is just stuff that you have to gain while you're in the market, and you can't really teach that. There's nothing like it besides just being invested. You're going to make mistakes, but you need to master these 5 things. And once you do that, you're going to be a much more competent and confident investor. These tools are all free, so you don't have to worry about spending any money. This isn't no program out there. It's just a video of tools that you can use to make your investing better and make you more knowledgeable about what's going on in the stock market on a day-to-day basis. I do want to say one more thing before we get into the video, is investing is very time consuming. So if you're into picking individual stocks, if that sounds like something that you want to learn how to do, you are going to spend a lot of your time doing research, listening to videos, watching videos, reading books. There's just so much information that you have to learn and so much information out there. And there's no one video on YouTube that's just going to encompass everything. And if it was easy, there'd be a lot more people doing it. That's not to say that investing is hard. It's definitely obtainable for everybody. I want everybody to understand that it's definitely obtainable. It just takes time and dedication. And I've been doing this for 3 years, and I would never imagine that I'd be as good at it as I am, or that it was as easy as it really is. Like, yes, I do put a lot of time into my videos, and I do put a lot of time looking at the stock market. At the end of the day, it's really not hard. I'm just taking in a lot of information and making decisions. So if that's something that you can't commit to, then maybe this video is not for you, and maybe investing might not be for you as well. That's a conversation that you're going to need to have with yourself, and then once you get through with that conversation, then maybe come back to this video if you decide that this is something that you really want to do. And with that being said, if you want more content like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And with all that being said, let's get into the video. So this is going to be a little bit different video than what I normally do. I normally don't do videos where I show my screen while I'm making the video, but I feel like it's pertinent to the situation because all 5 of the things that I want to go over are all internet based. You can do this on tablets, you can do these on phones, you can do these on obviously your computer if you have one, or a laptop, anything. And I do all these things on multiple devices all the time. So the first thing that you need to know, or the first thing you need to learn how to use, is a screener. A screener is the first thing you need to learn how to use, but you're never going to master it until after you've mastered all the other things. So it's a very weird tool because you need to understand how to use it at first, and then you're not going to master it until after you've gone through all the other things. So again, this is super weird to kind of be explaining this first. It's not too hard to understand, but it's hard to master. For today's example, I'm going to be using the company Boeing just to kind of run through all this stuff. So the first company is FinViz. I can just type in this ticker symbol. I know it from heart because I've looked at Boeing a lot. But if you don't know it, you can always just type in Boeing and it still will come up. So as long as you know the company's name, you can find the company. The first thing is, once you click on the page, you have the chart, and this is going to have some lines driven on it. The green and red is the actual chart itself. These purple and blue lines are trend lines, and then these other little waves are SMAs. These other lines are SMAs, and they're a little bit more advanced. So I wouldn't worry about SMAs at this point if you're just now getting into investing. Something that you need to learn about, but it's not something that you need to learn about today. So then you come down below, and this is where you have all of the information about a company. So this is really great. You can find all this stuff if you're just quickly looking at it. If you're doing stock comparisons and you just want a quick Snapchat of what's all going on with a company, you can come here. And yes, there's a lot of numbers, but it's not as daunting as it may look. The rest of the stuff you'll just kind of learn as it goes along. And I know that might not be the answer you're looking for at this moment. You kind of want to get everything you can, but it's really not necessary to jump so deep into every one of these aspects from the get-go, or even really in long term. I mean, they mean something, but they don't necessarily mean something all the time. The next site that I love to use is Yahoo. So Yahoo, I like it a little bit better because the information is a little bit cleaner in my opinion. So when you come into Yahoo, you type in this company, you're gonna get this summary page. This gives you another quick snapshot with a little bit more of the important stuff. But my favorite tab is the statistics tab. When you come to this tab, it gives you the up-to-date information. So the current market cap is $99 billion. And I put all this information up there. So all this information I'm showing you on the screen right now is all from Yahoo. I use this because it's more accurate and it's more up to date. After I go through those two, I normally go to Seeking Alpha. Seeking Alpha is basically like an information database. So we type in Boeing. Again, you're going to be able to get all their financials. And really you can use, they all have like their perks when it comes to financials and like what they show you. And if you can't find it on one site, maybe you can go to another site and you can find different information on it. But what I really love about Seeking Alpha is the news. Basically, you can set up your own portfolio. This is my YouTube portfolio. These are all the companies that I talk about on my actual channel. And I think I'm invested in all of these channels. I also have a watch list. So these are stocks that I'm watching, that I'm planning on buying into or I'm interested in buying into at some point. But you can set up different watch lists, and if you go to these different watch lists, so this portfolio one of mine, tells me all the most recent news. So this is all stuff that happened today. All this stuff happened today. All this stuff happened yesterday. It tells you the date. You can just go through and watch all the news. So I'm gonna go back to FinViz, and I'm gonna use the screener I'm gonna take the numbers that I got from Yahoo, and I'm gonna use the screener. So when you're using the screener, you go into all, and then you're gonna have all these options. You can put in any options you want. You can whittle it down to whatever. So we know sector, we're gonna go to industrials, then we're gonna aerospace, we're gonna go to market cap. We can do, we'll actually skip the market cap because that's not necessary. So forward P, we'll leave P at forward P is less than 40. PEG ratio under 3. Price to sales is under 2. So then you're gonna see down here there's 8 companies that match this description. And you can whittle these down even more if you needed to. This is basically all the companies that meet the same criteria as Boeing and are in the same industry. So we can kind of use this to figure out who we need to compare it to. So then I'll use the top 3, go back over to Yahoo, type in all that information, and then I'll get this chart. And once I have this chart, this is where you can kind of do your comparisons to other companies, see how overpriced or underpriced a company is. And then I also would take notes going over to Seeking Alpha and writing down notes for each company and why I would want to invest in it over another company, or what's the story behind it. A big thing that's not talked about in the stock market is the story around companies. The story is almost more important than the valuation. The valuation matters, but if the story is good enough, then the valuation doesn't matter. That's why you see Netflix has a bigger market cap than Disney. And that's why you see Tesla have a bigger market cap than all other car makers, because the stories are good enough and the potential on what they're creating is big enough that people will look past the valuation to capture a piece of that growth that they see. Then the next tool that I haven't talked about yet is TradingView.com. TradingView.com is great because if you want to do any let me go pull up Boeing real quick, go to full feature. If you want to do any charting of your own, right? So on here you can look at any kind of chart. You have your time period, so you can change this to 4 hours if you wanted to. You can change this to a daily chart, so you can kind of look at the daily chart. So this is what's been happening in the company over the last couple days, or over not the last couple days, over the last couple months. You can go over on the side, put in some trend lines. So just some basic trend lines here. I'm not a really good chartist, but let's see what I can come up with here. So I think it'd be better to go this way. And like I said, charting's never been my personal thing, but we're gonna do it anyways just for the video. So you kind of see this up channel going, so that's kind of where we expect it to go. You can add indicators. I know the MACD is normally a good indicator to look at. So we have the MACD. Now we have the MACD. This bottom part right here is the volume. So this is how many people are buying and selling. The MACD is so many pop-ups. That's the only thing that sucks about this site, is you're gonna get a lot of pop-ups, but it is free, so take that with a grain of salt. So we see it kind of starting to reverse here, and it's gonna start heading back up. At least that's kind of how you read these charts. This is kind of they kind of show you like momentum, if that makes sense. The MACD shows you kind of momentum. So we had this upward momentum, and then we hit this point, and it started turning over because we got a little bit overbought, and then it started coming back down. Now it's underbought and it's turning back around, and it could go lower, but I mean, kind of looks like it's trending back up. So, and with that lining up with it being on this trend line here, it's probably going to stay on this trend line and then, you know, break back up to a higher high or another higher candle, probably reaching back up here, maybe around, you can see like 260 ish. Again, I'm not the greatest at charting. I'm just kind of doing this to show you that this is another tool that you can use. Other things to look at is these dots down here are earnings and dividends. So this is when it last had its earnings call, or when it had its earnings call. This is when it paid its dividend. Earnings call, dividend, and then yeah, it had an earnings call. This is probably announced that this was going to be its last dividend, and then you probably had the virus and everything just sold off. But TradingView is a really good site to use if you're trying to figure out how to become a chartist. The last site to use is YouTube. The one thing I will say is take everything you see on YouTube with a grain of salt. And YouTube isn't the only place to get information. I also listen to some podcasts. I'll put some podcasts in the description. I'll kind of type in one thing to show you how to find a stock videos if you're looking specifically for Boeing stock. So you put the money sign, and then you put the ticker symbol, and then you just put the word stock afterwards. And then I always do filter, and I always do this week. So you have all these videos come up of people doing YouTube videos this week on this stock. And like I said, obviously take all their information with a grain of salt, but it will maybe give you a way of thinking about this company that you don't think about it. Or maybe you'll see somebody that's a really good charter and you know that you're weak at that, you might watch their video. I guess a bonus tip is Twitter. I don't know how many people do this on Twitter, but you can also put in the money sign BA, and you go to latest. And especially when you're talking about smaller companies, like when you're looking for speculative plays, I find that Twitter and YouTube, doing those two type of searches, you'll find maybe outlying information. So let's see. Hey, who's that number 2? No. But I hope this video helps. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you're able to take these free tools and really learn how to use them and maximize them. And don't fall for anybody trying to sell you something that's going to tell you that they're going to make money by you buying this program and you're going to learn all this stuff. Because at the end of the day, you're still going to have to learn everything. They're just going to tell you. They're going to maybe speed up the process maybe a little bit. They're going to give you some picks and stuff like that. But if you want to fully do this stuff on your own and actually learn how to become an investor, these tools are going to be the things that get you there. And with that being said, make sure you guys go and subscribe. I'm only at 35 subscribers, so it would help me out a ton if you guys hit that subscribe button if you made it this far in the video. I hope this video was helpful. If it wasn't, I am so sorry that I wasted your time, but I'm glad that you made it this far in the video because I greatly appreciate it. With that being said, see you guys next time.